fans playing the waiting game as new contestants for the Perth coaching job enter the ring. The Glory girls fall to Sydney FC and the Socceroos continue their World Cup preparations. Welcome to the Far Post Perth, powered by ID Athletic. Download the latest football catalogue, idathletic.com. And a big thank you once again to Trio Homes if you're looking to build, redesign or renovate. Make sure you get in touch with Dino Jubic and the team, or you can visit triohomes.com.au. Blayne Treadgold is my name, going around the table with me once again. Neil Sherwin, welcome back, mate.
Thank you.
We've got Jaxon Bassett with us.
We are back.
We are back, yes. Good stuff. And James Renson's with us.
Good to be here.
Yeah, mate. Good to have you back on board after a little bit of a week off, boys. Yeah. Unfortunately, I have to apologise for that. There was some...
Bit of traffic?
Oh, just a bit, mate. It took me about 40 minutes to go about 3 kilometres and, had to call it, unfortunately. But, we are back, and I guess a little bit of an opportunity tonight to look a little bit back on the first few weeks of the season. We'll chat about the Perth coaching job, of course. We'll chat a little bit about the Socceroos. But as always, we start with our good, our bad, and our uglies. Neil Sherwin, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah.
I think I know where you're going to go with this.
Just Ireland.
Yeah.
And you can move on to the next person. What a week. Look, probably everybody's seen the viral videos and whatnot, but before they were with 3 games of 6 gone in the group, they were sitting on 1 point. Beat Armenia at home, which you'd expect. Well, we would expect, but Ireland are shit, so you can't take anything for granted. Beat them 1-0. And then it came down to the 2 games. Portugal last week at Lansdowne Road, as it's the Aviva Stadium now, and beat Portugal 2-0. Phenomenal result. Cristiano Ronaldo, he can stick his Ballon d'Ors up his arse for 5 minutes. He had an all-time classic meltdown. Didn't think the VAR could possibly send off the great Cristiano. And they did, and the crying gestures and everything else that went back to him, it was just beautiful. Pantomime football at its finest. And to be fair, Ireland were already 2-0 up at that stage, and Portugal are probably better off without him, if we're honest, at this point in his career, as they showed by winning 9-1 in the game afterwards. But that was a ridiculous result, and we dared to believe. But you always think, Ireland haven't qualified for a World Cup since 2002. Had a disastrous Euro 2008, did a little bit better in Euro 2016, but nothing since then, and had to go away to Hungary. A team that's done really well recently, and it was a case of all Hungary needed was a point to finish second in the group, take the playoff spot, and they were cruising 1-0 up after 3 minutes. Ireland got a penalty, and then Hungary went 2-1 up. And that was 80 minutes. And then they got pecked by the Parrot. Troy scored on 80 minutes. And that last...
Troy, first name basis, you two.
Troy Parrot. Well, he's honorary or keys to the city and keys to the country, Troy Parrot at this stage. But that goal in the 90th minute, I mean, it was beautiful. It was the real sort of, Slobozlai had been given the gestures to the Ireland bench. Karma for that, the crying Hungarian players. The only thing missing was crying kids in the stand. I was really hoping that we get a cut to them in tears and devastated. It was 3,000 Irish fans amongst 57,000 Hungarians. But just 2 great goals as well. Parrot's second goal, the finish from the pass by Finn Azaz was beautiful. And the desire in the 96th minute to get his toe onto that knockdown by Liam Scales was brilliant. And it was 12 o'clock here when the goal went in. I was up for work the next morning. I was wired for a good 2 hours afterwards. And just look, I dislike the international break generally because it just breaks the flow of the season, but fucking hell, it's not going to get any better than that from an Irish perspective. And Troy Parrott scored all 5 goals in the 2 games. Yeah, right. So one that Spurs let get away.
I've got to admit, I'm not familiar with him. Where is he?
So Troy's at AZ Alkmaar in Holland.
Yeah.
He came through with Spurs when he was 17. I really shouldn't give him too much credit because he's a dirty Shamrock Rovers fan, and he's at Alkmaar actually playing against Shelbourne in Europe next week, and he'll probably bang a hat trick against us, and I'll hate him again. But he's over at AZ Alkmaar. There's talk of Everton being interested in him for about 20 million. He probably will get a big move. He's 23 years of age. And now he's just really put his name in the record books. And all of this to just qualify for a playoff. Haven't even qualified for the World Cup. So that'll be decided. And then the draw comes in the next week or so. And then the games are in March. So still lots of work to do.
Who are you likely to play?
It depends. There's still games to be played to see where you're seeded. You could get Italy. Could get Northern Ireland. You've got to win 2 games to qualify
That'd
for
be
the
tasty.
tournament.
Northern Ireland.
Shelbourne beat Linfield, so we can handle them at international level as well. But it's nice to still be in it because, as I said, they were on 1 point at the halfway mark and finished on 10. Like, that's madness. And credit to the coach, Hal Grimson, the dentist, who took Iceland to their famous win over England. You might remember a few years back. He's the same guy. And he was on his contract's about to expire. Indonesia were chasing him to be their coach, but I would dare say Ireland would be mad not to renew him now, given the work that he's been doing.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Good stuff.
I'm sure you all enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
I didn't see it until the next
really
morning,
good.
but the scenes is awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Lovely.
I love international football.
Jaxon, keep us going, mate.
I think you might know where this is going, Blayne, but playing and scoring in yesterday's Media Ashes game at Ashfield was a highlight of me for the week.
Yep.
You can give it more context because it's my first time being involved with it, but from what I could gather yesterday...
I didn't want to call up anyway.
Oh, well, you know what? You were notified. So
no, you said the game was on. You didn't say it was. You didn't say boots were required. I was sitting by my bed with my bag packed, and then didn't get shin pads.
We probably could have used you because we got absolutely slaughtered yesterday. I mean, traditionally, just to give everyone a little bit of context, going right back into the early 1900s, when the English touring side used to come out, it was
about cricket now. Just
cricket. Yeah. They used to put on just a bit of a friendly against the WA state team. So it was, don't get me wrong, English cricketers could probably play to a decent level. But as professionalism kind of got on, they didn't want the cricketers playing much anymore and that kind of thing. So I think about the early 2000s, it morphed into basically an English touring media against a WA local media football match. Which is really cool, and it was put on by guys like Richard Kreider and these kind of guys that were heavy. Brett Klushnik, I think Louis Prospero was in charge last night. I think it's come under the banner of the WA Football Hall of Fame now. Just a really cool concept though, so I really enjoyed it. I got notified about it, and then Penny Tanner from Radio Fremantle actually said, "Hey, do you want to come down and have a kick?" So. Yeah, just let a few people know. Unfortunately, we didn't get the numbers that we wanted, so it turned into a bit of a 7-on-7 rather than a full pitch. But it was still good fun, and it was good to have guys there from the English media come and play. No, not really. To give people a bit of context, previous years have had people like Michael Vaughan. Now, I understand Michael Vaughan actually not just a great cricketer, but actually played schoolboys football as well. So he's just potting shots in from like 30 yards and making us all look pretty ridiculous. But yeah, I've got to admit I'm a bit sore today. I haven't had a decent run in a while, if you want to call that a decent run. But no, Jaxon took his chance and put one away. But I think the final score was about 7 or 8-0, 7 or 8-1, I think, in the end. But
yeah, we had one goal late on as well, which may or may not have been offside. So it made it 9-2. It's a bit more respectable.
Yeah, but it'd be good to be able to. Previous years have been a lot bigger. So, no, it'd be good to be able to bring it back in full on. And I think the guys got together and had a bit of a beer afterwards. So, cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's got to work on the cardio.
There used to be, and I'll throw away, I never played in it, never got invited. But there used to be like a Glory staff against media games as well back in the day.
I know Gareth still does the one for the Perth Children's Hospital.
Yeah, that
against
one.
The staff there.
There used to be like a when there's a few of the ex-players on the staff against the media.
I mean, previous years I was lucky enough to play against with like Harnwell and McGarry and this kind of thing. So it's pretty cool. Probably the only time that I'd ever get to play with those guys. So no, it was all right.
Fair enough.
As considering how rubbish I am. So good stuff. James, do you want to keep us going, mate?
Oh, I'll just keep mine brief. It's already been touched on, but
Ireland again.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, no, just the scenes of it all, and
get off the bandwagon, Renton.
No, well, it's just it's not only that, but it's also like the game that they had against Portugal and the scenes around that, and obviously, as Neil mentioned, Ronaldo, how he was carrying on like a 2-bob watch, and just watching Troy Parrott's goal in the 96th minute with the Irish commentary and the scenes behind it, it was excellent. And it's, for as much as we shit on the international break, that moment in itself was one of the reasons why international football can be so fantastic.
I want to pick you up on that, and it's around the international break. I think what I've discovered for me personally over the years is it just takes a little bit of a shift in the mindset. I know it's hard sometimes to go from club football to internationals, especially when they're friendlies and this kind of thing. but it just takes a little bit of a mind shift. And once you embrace yourself in it, there's some great football, as we saw.
But it depends on what you're seeing, to be fair, because the stakes for Ireland were very clear. Meanwhile, for the Socceroos against Venezuela, it was like, well, it's a friendly, and that was probably why people, when they were watching the game, probably lasted for a bit and they were, stuff this, I'm not going to watch it anymore because it was batshit boring. But international football, if it's not got a little bit of a narrative behind it for me.
But you can find those gems, is my point.
But I think sometimes you have to scrape the barrel.
I think also part of the slog for us is that the European qualifiers tend to be in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
We were lucky with the Premier League here in our time zone that your 11 o'clock kickoffs is your goal rush, and you get those games in, you get an early kickoff. And I think that was part of the beauty of the Ireland game. There was actually 2 o'clock kickoff Irish time, which was 10 p.m. here, which it's still hard on a school night, but it's more accessible. If that game was at 3 a.m, I probably wouldn't have got up for it, because in my head, Ireland are getting nothing out of Hungary away. There's not a chance of them winning. But I absolutely made sure that I would watch it because, it was 10 o'clock on a Sunday night. So I think we lose a little bit of that romanticism because it's just so hard, because they're usually Thursday into Friday morning for us, or Sunday into Monday morning, 3 a.m, then you got to go to work all day, so it can be hard. Whereas Aleague obviously is in our time zone, and then the Premier League and a lot of European football, you've got early kickoffs, like even like the Old Firm, and that has to be on early because they can't handle their booze. So it has to be an early kickoff, and we get to watch that. So I think that's where we lose a bit, and that's why Saturday I had no football to watch on Saturday. There's nothing on.
No, I know. It's
crap.
Yep. No, I got that as well. I'm going to keep this going and keep on the
Ireland
international.
No,
3 in a row.
Pig's ass. I'm going to keep going with the international theme, but just the memories and all the great footage and articles and clippings and everything that everyone's been posting about the 20th anniversary since that 2005 game against Uruguay.
Date, that.
So
it's November 16. It's a good date.
Well, that's your birthday too, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, no, happy birthday for the week, mate. And I just thought it was really cool. And I think I think Football Australia, as much as it's hard to get a bit of traction with this kind of stuff, and they're really, and I've talked about this before, pushing shit uphill as far as getting coverage into the mainstream, I think they did a pretty good job, and everyone kind of bought into that. And as I said, there was some great, grainy old things taken on
I think
Motorola phones.
There was a photo of Simon Hill when he was commentating the game in Uruguay that was like, where the hell did that come from?
Yeah.
So, and I think it's big because, with not all due respect, lesser countries like Australia and Ireland, and for me growing up, we live off moments. We don't live off trophies because we haven't got any. Right? Yeah. There's other countries, Argentina, Brazil, Germany, Italy. They are off when we won the World Cup. Yeah. We've got moments, great moments in football that are celebrated, and they live with you forever.
Yeah.
And that is the big one for Australian international football. Without a doubt. So it's good that they commemorate the right way.
There was I was listening to the Round Ball podcast the other day with Lockie Avil, and he said there's almost a feeling of, it's almost like BC and AD. It's kind of like that, what happened before that kick and what happened after that kick, because they were polar opposites. We'd come out of the NSL era. The A-League had just been kind of launched, and then all of a sudden, that was the moment that football kind of sprung into the mainstream. It's a bit difficult to try and explain it to you younger blokes, but I mean, how just how pivotal that was, because I mean, football, the NSL was dead. Like there was the Crawford report. Yeah. There was government inquests into what's going wrong with Australian soccer as it was at the time. It was a huge moment, not just considering it had been 32 years that we'd qualified, but off the field as well, and what that meant for sponsorship to get to the World Cup. It was huge.
It also came off the back of a couple of, at least one disaster. I mean, Argentina 93, I mean, that was the playoff. Didn't expect to qualify with that. But I remember in Ireland watching the Iran game. And this game came only less than a decade after the Iran disaster. Yeah. So when you think about it, it was actually quite close, but it was 8 years at the same time. It was 2 further World Cups and pressure to actually make one, and I think if they had qualified for 98, and beating Iran, maybe it wouldn't have been as pivotal, and it wouldn't have been as big a deal.
Yeah.
But because of that disaster that preceded it only a few years before, it changed everything.
Far and away the worst moment that I've ever.
I remember watching it live because it was a morning kickoff in Ireland when I was watching it, and it was
2002. We never stood a chance.
No.
You watch the documentaries and you just realise how naive and stupid we were.
Yeah.
And then it took kind of Gus Hiddink to really pull some strings. Great.
But that was interesting though, seeing that documentary from 10 about how Gus was with the players and just his demeanour and how he was, and just like, I've got no time, and just hit the ground running.
But all the wheeling and dealing that he did behind the scenes, like
with Qantas as well, that was
FIFA on notice and this and that to say, don't give us a dodgy ref.
Exactly. It gave us more status.
Yeah, absolutely it did. And it took someone like that to master it and engineer it and everything else like that. So it was just really good to see those scenes throughout the week. I thought that was really good. Sherwin, keep us going with your bad.
I'll keep it quick because we'll talk about it a bit later. But the complete waste of the international break from a Glory perspective. They should have had a coach appointed at the beginning of the break who could now, while everybody was distracted by Ireland, that coach could have come in and had 2 weeks on the training pitch, getting the players. We've just wasted 2 weeks. Complete joke. And booting Zrilic to have nobody ready to go just sums up the farce that has been this ownership so far. I'm beyond disillusioned by it because it's sacked the coach 2 games into the season. And not have somebody lined up. Like you should have booted him in the off season, or if you're going to boot him now, you have somebody ready to go. Not this limbo period. We're just wasting a season again. After back-to-back wooden spoons, we go again for a third. I mean, you might as well get the hat trick now and have something to say that this was all for something. It was for a third wooden spoon.
Yep.
It's a joke. And I read there's been radio silence as well. They haven't even come out strong and said we're interviewing candidates or we're going through our due diligence. There's none of that at the moment. Absolutely none of it. Pure waste of nearly 3 weeks.
Yep.
It's an absolute joke.
Yeah. No, I certainly agree. We'll get into that a little bit more. Jaxon, what's been bad?
Italy. Simple as that.
Yep.
I mean, it was going to take a long shot for them to overtake Norway to get automatic qualification, but to lose 4-1 at home to a side that hasn't qualified in over 20 plus years and to have to go into the playoffs again for a team as big as this, it's just not good enough. And I don't know what's going on with Italian football and where it's all gone wrong in the last 12 years when it comes to the qualifying process. But if they happen to miss out again, there's going to be riots in the streets.
It'd be pretty funny, though.
It would be, but I just don't know where it all went wrong.
Well, their 2 losses were both against Norway.
I mean, Norway played really well, so it's not a disaster.
Unbelievable. I might chuck a cheeky tenner on them or get them in a sweepstake for the World Cup because they are looking on
hot.
fire with Sorloth and Haaland and Odegaard, and the supporting cast is pretty decent. But I mean, and they scored goals for fun. But Italy have this is not, and this is the thing. It's not just a once-off disaster. This is now. I mean, they had the Euro win. Obviously, was great, but that kind of papered over a lot of cracks, right? And now it's not looking good for them.
It's just weird how you can go from winning the Euros to now, not being able to pick up your form a couple of years later. I mean, I know they've lost. I know they like Chiellini, Bonucci, some of the older veterans have left, but there's still a lot of quality in that squad. This is by no means like. It's not bad. There's still some really good players in there. It's just not clicking at the moment.
Yeah, interesting. Ranson, keep us going, mate.
Well, we'll talk about this more in a little bit, but the Socceroos.
Yep.
Not a fan of their performance. I hated the angle about the experimentation angle from fans. I hated it because it's like, people have criticised Popper rightly for not experimenting with the team enough over the international windows that we had. And to be fair, given that this window wasn't really that meaningful, to be honest, given that we've qualified for the World Cup, it was an opportunity for him to experiment. And given the 2 teams that we're playing against in both Venezuela and Colombia, this was a good opportunity to be somewhat experimental. And then obviously there was the discourse about Craig Goodwin, and he was kind of at fault. But my broader problem was just how we played. Just too negative. And I loved Bruce Jittay's comments following the game where he was like, well, the Socceroos under Popper will always be a side that they won't get pumped. They'll always be hard to beat. But then where's that next step of putting the fear into the opposition? We're so lackluster in possession that because there's such this focus on being a defensive-oriented side, that there's not that kind of freedom of expression, that once we get the ball, it's about, can you penetrate? Can you take risks? Can you combine? Can we look to get forward? Can we look to be a threat against a side like Venezuela, who, as was mentioned quite a lot of times, are 50th in the FIFA rankings, and we held, they had 60% of the ball or something like that. So, look, obviously Popper in his presser leading into the Colombia game was honest about getting things wrong, but I think it's more of a broader problem with Australian football about what do we want to be in terms of how we play our football and how we want to coach players all the way from the professional levels down to mini-roos, because I think it's not just a Tony Popovich thing. It's that Aussie battlers kind of ideology and identity has kind of defined us.
Aussie DNA.
Yeah, and it's like that's good in its part, but in terms of having more substance beyond that, because if we want to go far in the World Cup, get to the round of 32, we're going to be playing against probably sides like Venezuela, Colombia, all these tougher opponents. How far is the Aussie DNA going to go? So I think we should be looking to dream bigger and try to do more as a footballing country.
We'll get into this, and I'll just say there's probably a few names now that you can cross off that list as far as going to the World Cup. Do you feel?
You probably can.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be a great opportunity for Popper to, over these next windows, because the next one is going to be March next year. Yeah. But it'll be a great opportunity for the young guys who have been given a go over their clubs over the next few months, or with their clubs, I should say, to try and stake a claim that they should be in the team. There's going to be competition for places, so hopefully we can see that over the next few months.
My bad, I guess, just still reflecting on the November the 16th and everything else like that. One of the beauties of football and those playoffs was the whole home and away thing. It's a bit, my bad is the fact that they're all gone into hubs now. I'm just not a fan. I really like that kind of home and away style playoff fixtures.
To Uruguay.
What's that?
Trekking to Uruguay.
Yeah, because I know people that actually did and went to El Salvador and these kind of Honduras, sorry, not El Salvador. These kind of places, and I mean that's part of the fun of it. And I know many fans that actually live for that kind of away trip, and it's just not possible anymore because they're all kind of got into these hubs, and you've taken away a fair bit of that. And also the countries themselves and the home fans themselves are missing out on those games now because they're all in hubs.
But if you're qualifying from Europe, should you not just qualify through Europe? And like if you're qualifying through Asia, do you not just qualify through Asia? Why would you play against like CONCACAF or other?
Fair point.
Well, because that's the way that it went. Because
why?
Well, because that was how many spots we had. We had that kind of was it?
So now
we had the 5.5
federation
spots,
has its spots, and then the best goes to the World Cup.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I like the.
Look, Ireland played Iran to qualify for a World Cup.
Yeah, I like the intercontinental kind of goes.
They're cool because it'll also be a good litmus test, let's say, from an Australian perspective, to see where we stack up. Because
even the last, not the last one, obviously, against Peru, that was in a hub. That was in Qatar.
Yeah.
So,
but if you want to play those countries, just qualify for the World Cup.
True.
Valid.
True. No, that's a fair call as well. And someone said, "Oh no, because it's not fair that some countries have got money and they can go by private jet and do all this." And I went, "Oh, just be better,
grow up."
So I think it's just taken away a little bit. Keep us going, mate. Ugly. We'll get through these.
Yeah, really quickly. Watching the Socceroos, I can't stand it. It's dreadful.
Yeah.
I don't care if they're winning games, and if they win the World Cup, amazing. But I don't enjoy it. I really don't enjoy watching them play. And we knew that it's Popovich football. It's pragmatic. It's
rigid.
It's boring. It does nothing for me. And there is a game. I didn't watch the Venezuela game. I watched the highlights. Why would I sit down and watch the Socceroos on a friendly? Ugh. I mean, let's be honest. Why am I going to go out of my way? Got to watch that?
There's no Troy Parrott, mate.
I don't watch Ireland friendlies for the same reason. But it's that's my choice. I watch enough football as it is, right? I don't need to sit down there and watch that for 2 hours. Qualifiers, yeah. World Cup, yeah. But
I've got to admit, I did enjoy 9 a.m. cornflakes in front of the TV. I mean, with the little one, that was just easy. Yeah, but not on a Saturday. That was a Saturday.
Yeah, and the next one's on a Wednesday.
Well, on a Wednesday.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I just don't enjoy it. So
don't you take Wednesdays off?
There you go.
Still not going to watch it though. Even on my day off.
Watch the highlights.
There's no appeal to me to watch it.
No, it's a difficult watch at the moment.
It's hard. You look at the stats that back it up as well. It's not fun. It's not interesting. And that's my choice. I watch enough football as it is. I can afford to take a game off.
Yeah.
But I just fear that there's going to be. it's not great for the casual, right? Because I know he needs to win games and all of that, but the Socceroos is your opportunity to get the country on board and everything else that comes with it. I'm not saying he should just play gung-ho rock and roll football to please the masses, but it would be nice if it was a bit interesting.
Yeah.
It's drab.
Yeah, it would help.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Jaxon, keep us going, mate. What's been ugly?
It might seem harsh, but I've chucked in Basie this week.
Ooh.
And if you told me at the start of the Oz Championship that they would win half of their games and miss out on goal difference from making the quarterfinals, I would have said, that's pretty good. But considering the spot they were in with 2 games left to go, on top, needing just 1 point from the last 2, I think they'd be really disappointed that they couldn't get at least something out of one of the last 2 games. And, I mean, the red card was it was an awful challenge.
It was there all day. It's 100% a red card. There's a bit of argument, it's not a red card. 100% what it was.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't know why you'd make that challenge at that point in the game. You're 2-0 down. There's half an hour to go. You need to keep all your players on if you're a chance. And they did get the goal back to put themselves within a chance. But it was disappointing. I think some of the defending for some of the goals was pretty average too. So I think that'll be a real disappointment because there was a real chance there to at least...
Do you reckon, though, I didn't watch the game, but do you reckon they were just gassed by that point, like the whole season, and then you got this extra month of football?
They did sign a load of players in the lead up to it, though, to boost the squad.
Yeah, and they needed to, though, because they were without a fair contingent, guys on, work FIFO and these kinds of things, so...
You also mentioned you mentioned the travel factor for opposing teams coming over here. That probably affected them too, having these last 2 games, having to travel to South Australia and then travel over to Sydney.
Yeah.
That probably had a massive impact too.
Yeah. I mean, home and away kind of format would have been a lot better. Renton, mate, finishes off.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll touch on this more, but Glory's coaching search.
Yep.
Not happy.
Yep. All right, so we'll go through that a little bit deeper. My ugly, just very, very quickly. Well, not ugly, just weird, and that's the OFC Pro League, including Australian clubs. I don't understand it. I know there's New Zealand clubs that play in the A-League, but can we just stop messing with the game? I don't know.
So you want intercontinental playoffs, but you don't want to go into the OFC with the clubs.
But that's international football. That's the way it's set up. It doesn't faze me, but I just wish the rules were, the boundaries were clear and the posts don't keep switching. As I said, I just feel it's really strange with South Melbourne playing in a UFC
Vanuatu away day, though.
In an OFC Pro League.
Nice.
It's just
No, it is. It's a weird little tournament.
Yeah,
it is a weird. I think it's great for the likes of Vanuatu and that have
absolutely.
represented.
And I think there should be that competition. But
That's
just if you're in Oceania, play in Oceania. If you're in Asia, play in Asia.
Yeah.
And I know, as I said, there's been exceptions made with Auckland and New Zealand and that kind of thing. But I mean, ultimately, I'd like to see those confederation borders shift anyway.
That's Israel play in Europe, Kazakhstan play in Europe.
Exactly. Yeah. But I'd like to see probably a Southeast Asian and Oceania absorbed, and then have a West Asia. I think that makes more sense.
What makes it easier for Australia?
Wow. Yeah, I don't know.
Get us back to Oceania.
No.
Yeah. Play American Samoa.
Don't even start.
31-0.
No, I'm not. No.
Archie Thompson.
I'm
need
not
to go
having
back.
that. No, I'm not having that. Anyway, let's go into a break. We'll come out the other side. We'll chat a little bit about Perth Glory's coaching woes. You're on the Far Post Perth podcast.
What a run! This could be the one! It's in! That's what it's all about! And when it comes to sports gear that helps you perform your best, ID Athletic has the winning formula. From grassroots clubs to elite athletes, ID Athletic provides high-quality sporting apparel, screen printing, embroidery, and made-to-order promotional products. Proud sponsors of the Far Post Perth and passionate supporters of WA community sport. Visit ID Athletic at 84 Howe Street, Osborne Park, or online at idathletic.com. ID Athletic. Build your identity.
Tired of the same old cookie-cutter home designs? Dreaming of a space that truly reflects you? Then it's time to talk to the team at Trio Homes. Whether you're looking to build your dream home, redesign your current space, or simply renovate, Trio Homes is committed to unique designs, local personalised service and quality workmanship. And with former Perth Glory star Dino Julbich at the helm, you'll know you're getting passion and dedication built into every project. Discover the difference with Trio Homes. Visit triohomes.com.au.
Welcome back to the Far Post, Perth powered by ID Athletic and Trio Homes. Boys, let's have a bit of a chat about what's going on with this coaching scenario or lack of coaching scenario, may we say, at the Perth Glory. We kind of touched on it in our good, bads and uglies, but where are we at? I mean, it's just, Neil said that it's a waste of a transfer window. This was supposed to be a good opportunity. This was the Grandmaster plan to be able to have a coach in and, feet under the desk and everything else like that. Maybe even having a look at players from, games from previous. It just doesn't seem like it's moving. And, my mail is that we won't have a decision this week at least. So we go into Newcastle with Adam Griffiths, and nothing against Adam Griffiths, but I think on behalf of the fans, and feel free whoever wants to jump in here, I think we just need this settled and say, right, Joe Bloggs is our man. We're getting behind him. We want you to do it as well. James, you're shaking your head.
Mm-hmm. I like Neil's point about how we've not heard much from the ownership group. Jason Bontempo, our vice chairman, I think we should be looking to hear a bit more from him and also from Stan in terms of where we are at with this process. And the reason why I mentioned Jason is because obviously outside of Glory, he's with Gladiator Metals, and I was doing a little bit of research because I wrote a big piece on my personal platform that sort of had to go at the club hierarchy, particularly in light of this coaching debacle. And one of the first reasons on the Gladiator Metals website as to why you should look to invest with them is because they have an experienced team and a proven track record with the people that are at that company. Now, if you look at Perth Glory, do we have an experienced team with a proven track record that are looking to try and find a head coach or to implement a football philosophy or actually run a club competently in the right way? No, we're not. And I think what we're seeing with this coaching process is that we were hoping that John Aloisi was going to take the job. And then once he said no, we literally had...
Well, it seems like it was Johnny Aloisi or bust.
That's it.
Yeah.
And so, we've gone through plenty of, apparently the club have gone through plenty of names and they've had their concerns with coaches for various reasons, be it they're too intense or they're wanting too much cash, or the big one is they want to bring in their own support staff. So our ineptitude in ballsing up, giving David Drillich not only another go, but also backing him with staff, has now put us in a precarious position where despite, and I've got a lot of time for Anthony Radich, but I think we're now seeing that this actual opportunity is not that attractive. And Daniel McBreen made a great point on the Aleague Off Air podcast, and that why would someone like Aloisi or Paddy Kisnorba, or who we've been linked with recently, and Graham Arnold, why would they want to come here? And Neil, you mentioned this point all the time in the sense of why would anyone want to come to Glory? So I just think it's been a complete balls up, and I think it's another indictment on just how terrible this new ownership group has been at running Perth Glory.
Jaxon, I said a couple of weeks ago that I felt it was at that point that it feels like Adam Griffiths isn't the worst case scenario. In fact, it makes a lot of sense just to let him get through the season, maybe offer hey, let's see if you can hit some KPIs and we'll offer you another year. Where do you sit on the whole thing at the moment?
Well, the longer this goes on and we don't hear anything, the more I think that we're going to reach the inevitable conclusion that Griffiths is going to get the position, at least for the rest of this season. I do agree with the point you made about the attractiveness of Glory as a club. The only thing that attracts is the Glory days of old. That's the only thing, the history of the club. There's nothing really in the last 10 or even 20 years, nothing in the A-League that suggests that this is a club that's built for sustained success. We had that grand final in 2011-12, and then we had the Glory under Popovic, who is just a really good, he was a good club manager, at least, and brought in lots of good players. But ever since COVID, it's been a bit of a basket case on and off the pitch. So, as far as the coaching situation goes, that's where I feel they put themselves in a really tough position where they didn't have a backup plan. It was the current coach is not doing well. Let's get rid of him, and then there's some good prospects out there. One of them will jump at the chance. They just assumed, I imagine they just assumed that someone was going to take the position, and now they backed themselves into a corner. And like Neil said all along, it seems like the in-house appointment looks the most likely at this point.
There has to be a reality here that in the A-League era, the Glories had 2 exceptional seasons. 2012 when they shithoused it from, 4th or 5th place into the grand final, and then under Fergie, and then 2019, 18, 19 when they...
Year.
What's that?
Happy was good.
Well, yeah, well, there you go as well. So, do you know what I mean, though? I mean, from those positions, that aside, but
Yeah.
they're the only
I know, I'm laughing
times,
because
but, and that's the blemish on it as well. So,
Is the fucked up salary cap. I mean, you couldn't even enjoy that.
no, well, exactly right. So, I mean, yeah, I just wanted to make that point as well, because this club has been nowhere near what it was. It hasn't been a speckle on what it was.
Well, Ross
NSL era.
Pellegro, when he bought the club, said that he wanted to make Perth Glory the benchmark club of Australia and the envy of every other club in the A-League. It's been just over 21 months to the day since Ross Pellegro bought the club. Aside from the obvious in that we haven't folded,
the needle hasn't moved an inch.
But are we better off now than what we were 21 months ago? Aside from having not folded, in the sense of where we're wanting to go from a football side of things in particular, have we really improved over the past 21 months on the pitch in particular since Ross Pellegro has bought the club?
No, the club's a joke. Like we're fans as much as anything else, and it's you just have to laugh, because otherwise you just bang your head off a wall and be depressed about it if you took it really seriously. And I know there are people that do, and like we laugh and joke about bad seasons and everything else, but that's because it's gotten to that point now where if you don't laugh, you'll cry, right? And I think James is right. There's been no improvement. I wouldn't even say there's been an improvement off the pitch. They've shifted from one public park to another. They're sharing a public recreation centre with anyone who feels like they want to walk in there. And there's what is the direction, of the club for the future? The biggest thing for me with Tony Sage was always not owning any assets. Right, as a club, you don't own your training ground, you don't own your stadium, you have nothing to show for it. And I don't expect that to happen overnight with a new owner, but I expect it's some by now, 2 years down the track. Like concrete. So we are working on building this in the next couple of years. It might take 5-10 years, but we have the plans drawn up. We've got the land. We've got everything else. I expect something like that within 2 years from a businessman who has dealt in property. Nothing.
And done well with Catania as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I get that, but I don't give a
but the point
about Catania. It's a totally different landscape.
It is, but he's just bought their training facility that they've been in talks with whoever owned it for the last few years. They've just bought it now, and Catania are currently doing exceptionally well. But it just points to the broader point in that there are better people that are at Catania, and even though it's a different landscape, it's the correlation's that clear. If you don't have the right people that are running your football club from top to bottom, don't expect any sort of change.
So I also think we were a little bit hoodwinked, thinking that somebody who already owned a football club would come in and give a shit about Glory, because it doesn't feel like it. For one, and two, I also think the reason I say I don't give a shit about Catania is because, like, if Catania get relegated, there'll probably be riots over there. Glory can't get relegated. People just walk away. Yeah. Like they just don't care, and you become apathetic to the club. And I've always said that the worst thing for people to be, it's not pissed off with the club, it's apathetic. As soon as people stop caring, you've lost them. And at least we still care to the point that we sit around and chat shit about it. But there's plenty of people who have become apathetic to the situation, won't put their hard-earned money into it. There's plenty of options around Perth in the summer, and I keep going back to it, and I've done some other stuff on the radio, and I was asked, we've got Anthony Radic coming up, what would you ask Anthony if you had one question for him? Well, I'd ask him, what is the incentive for anybody to take their kids or their family to watch Perth Glory? Give me a reason why they would do that over Big Bash, the basketball, the tennis is coming up again, the draws,
festivals, concerts, family days, Christmas.
Why would you go to Perth Glory over any of that? I can't give a reason. I've got friends and family that say, we go to Glory in the summer. I think, do you really want to do that? But why would you? It's depressing watching a lot of the games. And I do think that the squad is capable of winning games if they're all fit. But they need direction. They need that from the very, very top down. And I feel even as supporters, we have no direction from the ownership because we don't hear from them, right? It's an absentee owner as far as I'm concerned at the moment. It's an absentee vice president. You get a bit of bits and pieces from the CEO. But as I said earlier, we're going through this international window now and we've heard nothing about the club. Nothing saying that we're doing interviews. Nothing to say that the process has reached this stage.
Where are the 20 applicants?
Zero. It is going to be Adam Griffiths as far as I'm concerned. I resigned myself to that a couple of weeks ago once the Aloisi thing happened, that there was no plan B. You can throw all these names out, but one, none of them are going to want to come here, and two, we couldn't afford them. And the big red flag for me was the thing around not being able to bring in your own staff. What coach is going to take that on?
Yeah. I just want to pick up the Adam Griffiths thing. Is he the easy option, or just the easy option, the cheap option? But is he the best option at this stage?
No,
considering
he's not the best.
whole,
He's not the best option.
He's the only option.
He's the only option. It's
well, that essentially means he's the best option.
Well,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Kenny Lowe's the best option.
Mate, bring him back.
No, but it's we've seen some improvements under Griffo, but it's like fans are wanting something a little bit more compelling. And if we're going to waste another year with a squad that's had ridiculous levels of investment prior to the years that we've seen with other Glory squads, I mean, it's just Griffo's not a bad coach in ways, but it's like, are we really expecting Griffo to take this side from 12th to somewhere in the top 6 realistically?
Yeah.
No, absolutely not. And I don't think it's fair on him at the same time, because we've already heard from him in his pressers that what he thinks of the squad is completely at odds at what David Zrilic thought of the squad in terms of style of play, formation, press, all of that. So he's working with someone else's squad, working with someone else's players. He's picking them up after 2 games of the season where he doesn't have a window. He probably has no budget. They've got too many players signed, and he can't bring in his own staff. So yes, he best is such a. Yes, he is the best option, but best is doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah. No, I see where you're going, but yeah. Interesting times.
I think that's where we'll go. Like, we've done it before, right? We joked about it when Zrilic was sacked. They'll go around the world and appoint the guy who sat next to him.
Well, we've seen it that many times before.
And anyone who thought that might be different under the new ownership compared to Tony Sage, I mean, I could see why you would, but it's not playing out that way.
No.
It's coming to an inevitable conclusion. I just wish that if they're doing that, just do it.
Get it over with.
Just do it. We've wasted, because if they are going to appoint somebody who's not Adam Griffiths, the longer it goes on, the more into the season you are, the less games you have to claw back. If they are going with Adam Griffiths till the end of the season, why would anybody go watch that?
Yeah. Interesting times. Boys, I just wanted to take this opportunity. We've got international break. We've had a little bit of a start to this A-League season, but I wanted just to go, I guess, a little bit around the grounds and just have a look at kind of who's impressed and who's disappointed, be it kind of clubs, players, coaches, whatever that might look like. Anyone or any team that's kind of really impressed you, Neil?
No, I'll just go really quickly on what it hasn't, because I tipped them to win a lot, and it's Western Sydney. My God.
Thanks.
Yeah, 2 goals scored in 4 games. Haven't won yet. Sitting on 2 points. They're in danger of being leapfrogged by Glory, potentially, the ultimate insult. So, that's a complete disaster to start and talk of Stajic potentially being...
He's in trouble, it sounds like.
Booted, in the not-too-distant future.
And just linking that up to the whole coaching thing now, I mean, I wrote in my notes for last week, and it still kind of, I guess, fits, though, but it feels like there could be the waiting of the dominoes to fall. Arthur Dillis is under pressure.
He is.
Stadge is under pressure.
Bring him back.
Who else is there? Is Miller Stajovski under pressure? I mean, I had them up towards the pointy end at least.
Probably not to the same scale as Dillis and Stadge.
A little bit under the radar. You can probably get away with a little bit more there than the bigger markets.
And of course, Zrilic already gone. So I wonder if there's a little bit of that. Jaxon, impressed, mate, or disappointed you so far?
Probably Adelaide impressed me the most, considering I had them down the bottom. Sorry, I think I've stolen James's there.
Yep.
The other point I mentioned as well kind of goes. I'll link it back to Glory, but just looking at the table so far, you've got a lot of teams, like the Jets, 8 goals. You've got Adelaide and Wellington who've scored quite a few goals. The top 4 teams are the teams who've conceded the least goals. So I think if you're good Brisbane aren't pretty to watch, but clearly, if you're good defensively, that is the key. I remember saying that when we did our end of season thing last year, is that fixing the defense is the most important thing, because that is... I mean, you do need to score goals as well, and it would be nice to get some more attacking flow going with the Glory, because it's been an issue. But you can just stop goals leaking in. then that is going to make a massive difference. So
let's add to that point. Stop conceding shit soft goals.
that also helps.
Yeah,
I want to give a shout out to Brisbane. Look, sitting in fourth at the moment. A lot of talk about Volcanis and his presses and everything else like that, but off field, they've done a lot of work to try and get that Brisbane community back on board. They're playing some okay football. It's not as I said, it's not fantastic, but I think that's even more of a deserves more praise for their social media team and their community engagement. When you're not playing great football, but you're still grinding out results, and then people are still flocking back.
Yep.
Great crowds down on the Sunshine Coast.
People want to get involved.
If you could marry this up with a move or some news about Perry Park, then they are up and away.
At the end of the day, if you're winning games, then that's really the main thing, isn't it?
Yep.
I just throw in the Mariners because I thought they were going to be dreadful.
Well, the other side of that is Newcastle, I think, because they're up and down like a bride's nighty at the moment. They're
your defence.
Yeah. Box office one week, shit house the next.
Well, Milligan has some good ideas, but I think they're still, they need work.
Well, I think they're in a squeeze with the resources they've got as well. So
they've got a chance to play themselves into form this week, though.
They probably will.
They do. Yeah.
Probably will.
So anyone else that's impressed, disappointed? Nothing? No?
Just Western Sydney.
Yep.
I think it was always going to be interesting to see how they were going to go from an attacking perspective with who they lost. And I love Stadge, but I don't know why the hell this guy's got no versatility with shape. Playing Steven Yagarkovic at right wing is baffling all the Western Sydney fans and baffling me.
Yep.
2 goals scored all season.
Yep.
It's something that has to improve quickly. Otherwise, Stadge could be in a bit of trouble.
All right, on that note, we'll take a break. We'll come out the other side, get set to wrap things up on the Far Post Perth podcast.
What a run! This could be the one! It's in! That's what it's all about! And when it comes to sports gear that helps you perform your best, ID Athletic has the winning formula. From grassroots clubs to elite athletes, ID Athletic provides high-quality sporting apparel, screen printing, embroidery, and made-to-order promotional products. Proud sponsors of the Far Post Perth and passionate supporters of WA community sport. Visit ID Athletic at 84 Howe Street, Osborne Park, or online at idathletic.com. ID Athletic. Build your identity.
Tired of the same old cookie cutter home designs? Dreaming of a space that truly reflects you? Then it's time to talk to the team at Trio Homes. Whether you're looking to build your dream home, redesign your current space, or simply renovate, Trio Homes is committed to unique designs, local personalised service, and quality workmanship. And with former Perth Glory star Dino Julbich at the helm, you'll know you're getting passion and dedication built into every project. Discover the difference with Trio Homes. Visit triohomes.com.au.
Final part of the Far Post Perth. Big thanks to ID Athletic and, of course, Trio Homes. Boys, we did touch on it. Socceroos losing 1-0 to Venezuela. Pretty subdued kind of performance over there in Houston, I think it was. Yep. Very, very different conditions. I saw it was something with Joey Lynch. He said we went from 30 degrees to about 3 degrees up there in New York. They'll play in Queens against Colombia, 13th ranked country in the world, qualified pretty easily, I think, for the CONMEBOL section of the World Cup. But what do we expect? By the time people listen to this, they might. This will probably be run and won, but I guess more of a reflection on Venezuela.
I just, I sort of touched on it before, but it's like, I want to see the Socceroos take the fight a little bit more to Colombia. I know they're one of the better sides in South America in particular, but let's try and show something more than just parking a Dreamliner.
Yeah. Some big names for Colombia.
Yeah, I think that they scored a lovely goal in the game over the weekend.
New Zealand,
Look, I probably won't be watching. Maybe I'll use it to get the kid to sleep.
Oh, wow.
Just don't put on the Spanish commentary because
no, I think, look, there's this old cliche that you when you play your friendlies before a World Cup, you play against nations from areas of the world that you don't normally play against. It's this, we'll play against a team from Africa, let's play a team from South America while we're at it and try get and then, like, because Colombia play completely different style to Brazil, so it's not an exact science by any means. But it'll be good experience. And the one thing I will say is they're giving a few good exposure to a few players in and around the camp and the squad. So that's what your friendlies are for as well, is to get some new faces. So I don't mind it.
Very quickly, do we see James Overy? Because I think a lot of us have.
No, I don't think so. I think it's just a train on, give him experience.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see if he gets maybe 15 minutes at very least. But
Jack Ardell surely gets minutes before over.
Yeah. Yep. No, fair shout. Boys, Australian Championship. Of course, we did mention Bayswater not going through. Some really interesting fixtures set up for the quarterfinals. I saw a stat today come through on some of the crowds that have been reported. I think the total figure for the group stage was 74,000. I guess as an aggregate.
Got to start from somewhere.
Yeah. I guess that's okay. I tried to work that out. What does that average out to be? I can't remember how many games there was, but interesting. Just to have a look at some of these numbers, and we've talked about how feasible this league is, but interesting times.
It fizzed out a little bit crowd wise though?
Well, I don't know why it fizzed out, because we had an international weekend. There was no A-League football. So for those ones that kind of do follow...
Did the novelty wear off?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Is that what
I think
was?
it'll be a harder sell next year, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Prove me wrong.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, interesting. And unfortunately, they played in a lot of grounds that weren't conducive to having that atmosphere come through the broadcast as well. There was one game, I think Wollongong played at Cogra, and it was just that open kind of fast. It doesn't really inspire you to sit in front of the TV and get absorbed into it, unfortunately. But anyway, A-League Women, Perth went down 2-0 to Sydney Jaxon. I didn't watch this one, mate, but what can we say moving forward?
Wasn't the greatest watch, I'll be honest. Couple of silly defensive mistakes.
Comedy Central defending.
Yeah,
a couple of poor errors. Riley Tanner was really good for Sydney, though. A little bit disappointing. I mean, I think Badawi is still... She's going to be the main hope up front, but...
Best signing across both the men's and women's.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's unbelievable.
Just needs a bit more around her.
Yep.
I think there's still... I mean, there's definitely goals in the squad. It still needs a little bit of work. I did think we kept the ball quite well, and, there's definitely... I feel like it's in the first half, I think, we can see the philosophy and the ideas a lot more than we can with the men's team, at least.
Yeah.
I think a bit of fine-tuning, and eventually
Need to be ruthless in both boxes, then we have a chance of making finals, in my view.
Away to Canberra, McKellar Park, tough place to go. I think they've had
Canberra have been shit this season, to be fair.
Yeah, so opportunity.
Definitely.
Yeah, no, good.
Yeah,
is Michelle Heyman still at Canberra?
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of away games. It's like the opposite of glory.
Yeah.
A lot of away games. So if you can pick up a couple of points here and there,
that'd be good.
And then
come home.
They were really good at home last season. So you keep up that home form and make Sam Kerr a fortress. Then use that as a springboard for the back half of the year.
Good stuff. Let's have a look at the round ahead for the A-League men's. Friday night, we'll get some tips. We'll go around the table very, very quickly. Adelaide v Melbourne City, Mr. Sherwin.
City, even though people have said Adelaide are looking all right, I think City are just too good. Yeah. They got Max Caputo. Yeah, they got a striker who scores goals, young guy. That's huge in this league.
Yep.
He's been a highlight.
Jaxon?
Of all the young strikers.
Impressed.
Yeah, I'd say City.
City for me. Wellington v Macarthur. Opportunity for Wellington at home, surely.
A big opportunity, and I think they will take it 2-1.
Yeah, I can see a similar, as they definitely get on the score sheet.
Wellington to win.
Yeah, Wellington for me. Western Sydney Mariners. Is this the game that puts the knife into the back of Stadge?
Possibly. I think it'll be a draw.
I'm going to the Mariners. I reckon...
Is a draw enough for him to keep his job?
Probably not.
If you're going to sack somebody, do it in the international break. If you're going to appoint somebody, do it in the international break. Don't do it straight after the fucking break. Do it during the break. Like if he's so close to the tipping point that a draw would get him out, just get him out.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Jaxon.
Mariners. I think they pinch one.
I think Western Sydney bounce back.
I think a draw. This is going to be pretty tasty, boys. At Leichhardt, Sydney FC v Melbourne Victory.
Sydney.
Yes, Sydney.
And the pressure on Arthur.
And I was going to say, is this the pushing point?
Sack him during the international break. God, stop.
Copy and paste,
Funny. Auckland v Brisbane.
Auckland are the best team going. So yeah,
Auckland at home. Yeah,
Auckland will be comprehensive.
Auckland for me. Boys, Newcastle v Perth. I want to throw a bit of a stat. Perth haven't won to Newcastle away since the 16th of December 2018. Prior to that, they won 11 out of 20.
Is that Jason Davidson and Neil Kilkenny scoring?
I couldn't tell you.
Davidson
it used to be a happy hunting ground.
It used to be massive. There was a period between 2012 and 2016 when I was looking this up that they didn't lose there in something like 9 fixtures.
Well, history counts for absolutely nothing, and they will lose and concede 3.
Shit. You reckon?
I think Newcastle
are hiding to nothing.
Now, Glory might score a couple because Newcastle are not great at the back, but I think Newcastle's free-flowing football is perfectly suited to rip that Glory backline to shreds because it's sluggish.
Yeah.
Especially if they play an even slightly high line, there is going to be space in behind for a lot of those Newcastle players. So I think it could be a very, very difficult watch.
Jaxon?
I'll go back to one of my favourite stats. 6 of the last 7 or 8 games have been 2-2s, so this is definitely going to be a 2-2.
Draw.
I'd take a draw.
I'd take a draw. Yeah, I'm with you, boys. We
More
can wait
hopeful than
until
anything.
I think it's 2 p.m. Sunday afternoon. Burning questions, boys? Anything?
Will we have a head coach at some point?
Any
this
stage
week?
throughout the season?
Yeah. Be nice.
Will we actually hear from the club on the head coaching situation? Never mind actually appoint one. Will somebody come out and just tell us what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
That'd be a start.
Good point.
Baby steps.
I don't know. Tom Lawrence is back again?
Yep. Tom Lawrence? Yeah. That's an interesting one. That's what I was thinking. I wonder who's going to be available.
I was thinking
come
maybe
Thursday that we might get some names out.
I was thinking, maybe
extended
is there anyone else other than Lawrence who comes back in the next
Is Amos?
this week?
Kaczarski.
How far is Sutton away?
Next week or the following week, probably.
Okay.
And then Amos probably December.
All right. So we'll see how that all pans out. Big thank you to ID Athletic. Big thank you to Trio Homes. Big thank you to Neil Sherwin, Jackson Bassett, and James Renton. Don't forget to tell everyone about the Far Post Perth podcast, available on Spotify, on Apple, and YouTube Music. We'll see you next Tuesday for more on the Far Post Perth podcast.